She's a 34-year-old banker and her wedding is supposed to hold this coming December 2025. But now, her world has fallen apart because she just discovered that the man she's about to marry, her fiancé, is an armed robber. Here's how it all started. Her fiancé Michael owns a big building material shop directly opposite the bank where she works. That was how they met. The funny thing, you'd never believe he owned that shop. He looked too quiet, too decent, too normal. In just 5 years, that same bank had been robbed 4 times. Nobody ever suspected anything. Back in December 2023, Jessica met him at a small restaurant near her office, the place where she always eat lunch. That day, he walked in, saw her sitting alone, and politely asked if he could join her table. She said no problem. They ate, they talked a little, and he introduced himself. "I'm Michael." She told him her name and he smiled, saying he already knew her, that he'd seen her several times at the bank because he banks there. Before leaving, he did something that shocked her. He called the waitress and asked her to calculate the price of 1 plate of food with turkey or chicken for 30 days. The lady did, and Michael paid for everything on the spot, saying Jessica should eat free for the next 30 days. She tried to stop him, but he insisted. That gesture melted her heart. They exchanged numbers and started talking. Soon, they began dating. But one thing about Michael was strange. He had no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, only WhatsApp and Twitter. When she asked, he said he's a private person and never wants his picture online. He even made her promise never to post him no matter what. She found it odd, but she respected his wish. When she asked if he was married or seeing someone else, he swore he wasn't. Then in 2024, the bank got robbed again. It was massive. People were injured, chaos everywhere. But strangely, they didn't touch her. That same period, she began noticing more red flags. Michael had 7 phones. He said it was for business, but he hardly went to the shop. He had 15 workers, 2 branches, and yet he was always home or moving around. Whenever a call came in, he'd step outside to answer, but before picking, he'd put the phone on loudspeaker just to prove it was a man calling, not a woman. That made her relax a little. But everything changed in February this year. Jessica went to his apartment one day. The place was very dirty, so she decided to clean up. While sweeping under the bed, she found something that froze her heart. A bullet casing and a small box filled with real bullets. She was terrified. But she didn't ask him about it immediately. Instead, she went to a friend who was a computer guru. She begged him to clone Michael's phone just to know what he was hiding. When she finally saw the messages, there was nothing romantic. Only men, always chatting in codes she couldn't understand. That was when she started connecting the dots. Michael was rich, but he didn't own a house. He paid 5 million naira yearly for a 2-bedroom flat. When she asked why he didn't just build, he said he didn't want to settle in Nigeria, that once they got married, they would relocate abroad. He was even working on their visas. But recently, Jessica discovered the bitter truth. Michael is not just a robber. He's the second in command in a deadly robbery gang. Since then, her life has turned upside down. She hasn't told her parents because she doesn't know how they'll take it. She confided in her cousin who told her to mind her business and live her life, but deep down, she's not comfortable. She's scared. She can't sleep. She keeps thinking, what if one of her future children inherits that kind of behavior? What if one day he's caught and she's dragged into it too? She thought about reporting him to the police, but fear held her back. This is Nigeria. What if they collect bribe and release him? He would definitely know she was the one who exposed him, and that could be the end of her life. Now, she's stuck, lost, confused. She keeps asking, if you were in her shoes, what would you do? Would you report him? Would you walk out quietly? Or would you still go ahead and marry him? She needs help, because right now, she doesn't know what to do.